Hey, Coach Mike Solarte, Spectrum News One. As you prepare for the Chargers, where does it start for you? Does it start with Eckler? Does it start with their offensive front? Does it start with their quarterback? I mean, with it being Herbert, there's not much tape on him, but where does it begin to prepare for this group?
Well, this is a pretty balanced offense. So people, they're rushing for about 169 and throwing for 250. So normally when people are balanced like that, their offensive line is playing well. And so they've got a real good offensive line. They play together and they're tough. And it's amazing. They get a lot of 5 and 6 yard runs and they just keep the chains moving. So they can control the football and all that. You got to have a good offensive line to do that. And then, they have some wide receivers, a tight end, and obviously they can move the football.
Hey, Phil, I'm wondering when when would you get concerned about this pass rush? Are you there yet? And then related, are you much of a blitz scheme guy? I know you've said you didn't want to do it last week against Tom, but philosophically, is that something that you've typically not done much of?
No, over the years, it depends on the personnel and who we're playing and how much we blitz. But anytime that you don't get sacks in a ball game, it's concerning. I think it's not. It's really interesting because sacks in college really relate to winning, and in the NFL, it's more pressures on the quarterback that does. So you can be high up in sacks and not be as good on defense, and guys that pressure the quarterback be better. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got to start being around the quarterback a little bit more, and it is a concern, and we're trying to do some things schematically and technically, and hopefully we get better each week.
Let's go to Elena and then Phil.
Coach, just going off that, what specifically have you tried to address this week to, improve in that area? Is there anything you're doing differently or anything you're really going over with the guys to kind of improve in that area?
Well, anytime that there's an issue, you evaluate everything, from what you're calling defensively to who's getting the one-on-ones, who's winning them, who isn't. And so we've evaluated everything and, we've addressed it, and I think it'll get better. So, in last week I dropped 8 a little bit more because of the quarterback, and so that doesn't lead to rushing the passer. So, we'll see this week.
Hey, Phil, Will Kunkel here with Fox 46. What have you seen on tape with Derek Brown and what he is or is not doing? And that says he's got to change his game. He's got to be more impactful.
Well, I think one of the things, and for all rookies up front, you tend to play the run a little bit better than the pass initially. And so, I think he'll start really getting off and he needs to get off and keep pressing the pocket. And he knows that, and he's working on it. So I think once he starts doing that, you'll see Derek make more and more plays.
Or we can go to Miles and then Skylar.
Hey, Phil, what did you see from Justin Herbert off of the tape, the game tape from last week in his first start?
I thought he was pretty composed. He did throw one interception that hurt him, but, he threw for 311 yards. I believe it was 311, and I thought he did real well. Now, the offensive line really helped. They could run the football. They had a lot of runs that were 5 to 6 yards and kept the chains moving. And but he did a nice job, for probably didn't even expect to play in a football game, and to go in and play the way he did, I thought he did a great job. Probably didn't get a lot of reps last week. So he did a great job, I thought.
Hey, Phil, kind of to follow up on that, when you don't have much game tape to go off of, do you kind of have to go back and dabble into some of his college stuff? And for you defensively, is this kind of a week where you may get a little bit more aggressive trying to get to the quarterback early and often?
We spent a lot of time studying him with thoughts of maybe drafting him, right? So we put a lot of time into him last year, so we studied him a lot. And then, a lot of people don't blitz this team. They have a lot of screens that can bother you. They have some issues that when you do blitz, and, you even look at Kansas City last week, Herbert's in there. They didn't blitz hardly at all. And normally they'll pressure. So, each week is a little different in your approach and when you blitz. And so, we'll have to see what their game plan is.
All right, let's go to Phil Orban and then David Newton.
Hey, Phil. It looks like Brian Burns is continuing to kind of develop his game and doing more things in his second year. And I'm wondering how you're able to evaluate his progress year over year when you didn't coach him last year and you're just kind of watching film. How challenging is that?
Well, one of the things with Brian, if you look at the second half of this last ball game, he really, I put him in the rush a lot more because we're doing different things with him. And he really rushed the passer well in the second half. But he also can drop and do some other things. So we're trying to utilize who he is. And we're in the infant stage with it, right? I mean, he hasn't dropped a lot and done all those things, and he's getting better every day. So we just got to keep battling through and keep hitting this rock until it cracks. And the guys are working hard. And at some point, I think you'll see us play and really play well. But Brian's making good progress.
Hey, Phil, David Newton, how's the challenge of creating pressure in the NFL differ from what you experienced in college?
Really, we're seeing a little less in pro football. College, the field's so wide and spread out and because of the hash marks and stuff. So you can really see the blitzes a lot easier, I think, than in pro football. With the ball pretty much in the middle of the field, it's harder to see some of the blitzes in the NFL. But, I always laugh, when you blitz, somebody's band's going to strike up, right? Either theirs or yours. So everybody wants to blitz. But, if you look at the pressure in the National Football League, because I study everything, 3/4 of the sacks, a little less than 3/4, are coming with a 4-man rush and not the blitz. The ball's coming out versus the blitz. So we still got it. We have to rush the passer with 4, and that's the key. And I think that's the key for any good defense.
All right, let's go to Jason Huber and then Jonathan Alexander.
Hey, Phil, Jason with WFNZ. Going back to Derek Brown real quick. Matt Rule mentioned this week how he spoke with Derek Brown about the penalties and said right now, he's playing that aggressive game. Don't worry about those right now. And Derek Brown mentioned that, he just has to, he's going to sell up for his team. He has to just kind of put his hands down. As a defensive coach, how do you work with the guy who's just coming from college with trying to get the game to slow down and teaching them how to put their hands down, how to try to avoid those penalties?
Yeah, Derek was playing hard, and when you're a rookie, you're trying to make an impression and play real hard. So, some of the penalties, if they're aggressive, I didn't even say anything to him during the ball game. We talked to him on Monday that he's got to be smart when he comes in, but some of those things happen, and you just got to play through them. We had too many penalties on third down last week. We had 3 that kept drives going. So, that's something we've talked about, and we just can't give those up.
Hey, Phil, Jonathan Alexander. Two questions. I'll ask you the first question, then I'll ask you the second after you answer. But you and Matt Rule have been together for a while now. Mm-hmm. Why do you think you two have continued to stay together for as long as you have? And I'll ask you the second one after.
Well, probably, we took over, he took over 2 programs and we turned them around. And so, when he was at Baylor, he said, Snow, I want to go to the NFL and try it. And I said, well, good. And so when he got this job, he asked me to come. And so, we have a process that works. Now, will it work here? We'll, have to wait and see. Right. But I think it will. I think, now it takes, a while to process it, but, pro football is different than college football. Your roster turns over 30-35% every year. It's not like college ball where you get a young guy for 4 to 5 years. So, we'll see. But the attraction is that I've always gone to programs that needed to be built. We start, everywhere I've gone, if you look, but previous, the coach got fired. So we went in there and you had to build the program, and it takes a lot of time, and you got to be tough and believe in what you're doing to turn things. And And so I believe in that, and so does he. So I think it's been a good match.
And how do you, you all drafted 7 rookies. A lot of guys left. How have you, and how do you continue to approach trying to rebuild this defense?
Well, the really our DNA is the tape. Nobody cares whether we have rookies or not. The tape is the tape. And that's why I tell the guys, it doesn't matter whether you're a rookie or a free agent. It doesn't matter. You've got to play at a certain standard at this level. And so there's no excuses. So we just got to play better and continue to work. And I like the way the guys are working this week. So we'll see what we do on Sunday.
All right, we have time for 2 more. So let's go to Joe Person and then Mike Solarte to finish.
Phil, you mentioned pressures. I think Matt said he counted 4 or 5 for you guys in week. Wondering what you guys had on your count for week 2. And then secondly, is there anyone you think up front you need to get more snaps for?
The analytics people tell you need 11 pressures to win football games, and we had 5 last week. So, we've got to do a better job, obviously, than that. We're going to try to get our best pass rushers on the field on 3rd down. So, we'll see how that works, and we'll go from there. But, you got to play a lot of D linemen, and everybody does in our league. 7 or 8 guys we got to stay fresh and see if we can't get pressure.
Coach Mike Solarte again. Back to Derek Brown. I know that you talked about him improving in the pass rush, and you got 2 games worth of tape on him, and you see him every day in practice. Is he on a daily kind of run where he does something in practice or in a game that makes you think, man, we're just really getting started with this guy, and he's on his way to being something special?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see flashes of him, and you're doing in both games that you'll say, wow. He's got to do it every snap, and he will. It's just a matter of time. And you also got to remember he's learning a new system and new coach, and so and we really haven't had that much time with him. So I think he's making good progress. We just got to keep at it.